India views China as its primary adversary and Pakistan more an ancillary security problem to be managed, despite cross-border attacks in mid-May by both India and Pakistan militaries. This, according to the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency. In its Worldwide Threat Assessment 2025 report, the DIA said India is countering its primary adversary by giving priority to advancing its bilateral defense partnerships in the Indian Ocean region through exercises, training, arms sales, and information sharing. The assessment said that Pakistan, on the other hand, sees India as an existential threat and will continue the development of tactical nuclear weapons to counter India's conventional military advantage. The assessment said Pakistan is modernizing its nuclear arsenal and almost certainly procuring weapons of mass destruction applicable goods from foreign suppliers and intermediaries. It further said that Pakistan is a recipient of China's economic and military largesse, and Pakistani forces conduct multiple combined military exercises every year with China's PLA. It noted that China-origin combat jets such as the JF-17 and J-10C and the PL-15 missile were extensively used by Pakistan during the recent clashes. This as China is rapidly advancing its military modernization and developing capabilities across all warfare domains. In 2025, China announced a nominal 5.2% annual military budget increase to $247 billion. However, China's actual defense spending is significantly higher, following 2024 defense spending of an estimated $305 to $377 billion. These figures include publicly omitted defense spending, such as research and development and defense industrial-based subsidies. The assessment highlighted how the PLA Air Force and PLA Naval Aviation Forces continue to evolve into more technological advances, effective and capable forces proficient at conducting joint operations. It noted how this past year China unveiled the J-35A, which is a fifth-generation fighter that can operate from PLA aircraft carriers. The PLA rocket force has also expanded over the years. According to the assessment, it has fielded 900 short-range ballistic missiles as against 1,000 in 2023, 1,300 medium-range ballistic missiles compared to 1,000 2 years ago, 500 intermediate-range missiles, which is somewhat similar to the figure in 2023, 400 intercontinental ballistic missiles, up 50 in 2 years' time, and 400 ground-launched cruise missiles compared to 300 in 2023. If we talk about Beijing's nuclear capabilities, the assessment says it has probably surpassed 600 operational warheads, estimating that the number will increase to 1,000 by 2030. And with us on the broadcast this minute is Lieutenant General D.R. Soni. Thanks very much for being here, for your perspectives. I have to begin by asking you, what do you make of this assessment by the report regarding India's priorities, and also how it says that Pakistan is an ancillary threat for India?
Good afternoon, Ms. Gambhir. Thanks for having me on your show. Any country with borders like we have with Pakistan and China has to view them as a threat, because the history that they share with us has never been conciliatory, to use a very oft used word. As far as naming China as a bigger threat than Pakistan, which the US DIA has said, so China has got, you just brought out its military arsenal and how huge it is. It's got technology, it's got human resources, its economy is also adequate to support any endeavor it does. It's looking for a blue water navy. You probably didn't touch on that, but that's also a very, very important issue. It has been trying to stealthily, surreptitiously slide into the neighborhood of India, like Sri Lanka with Hambantota, Gwadar, the CPEC, Myanmar, Nepal. this is the debt trap diplomacy, but we have to view this with caution. Now, as far as we are concerned, it's not a question of who's a bigger threat or a lesser threat. A threat is a threat because it is a threat to my independence and my national interest and to the population of my country, the development of my country. Now, India is developing by leaps and bounds. So if they've got, China has the third largest air force, say, in the world. We are fourth largest. We are also developing in leaps and bounds. It doesn't suit China to have us on its southern borders. We have issues which have not been resolved so far, which in their mind actually need resolution. We have Arunachal, we have so many, the McMahon line, there are issues. All right. Pakistan, on the other hand, we just saw an altercation between Pakistan and India. It was 4 days, but it did bring a couple of things to light, that Pakistan needed assistance to actually defend itself economically, militarily, and in that manner, I believe that when we are preparing for both these threats or multiple threats, and we make a threat assessment about who is larger or who is more viable as a threat to me, I would probably look at China as a more viable threat to me. So in that, to that extent, I would say that the DIA report that they brought out and you just quoted would have some amount of sense in it. And Pakistan would be a threat, but a large amount of this threat would be centric towards a terrorist kind of threat, a threat towards a particular region in our country, specifically Kashmir, J&K, the border areas, to keep this alive. Also, at the behest of China, because China doesn't want us to develop. It wants to be the big boss in the region. And I'm telling you, it wants to be a big boss couple of years from now. It wants to be standing facing the US as a counterpoise to the US. We do not fit in that narrative, and we must be sorted out or at least suppressed by China. That is what I believe is the Chinese whole story about.
All right. I also want to get in your reaction specifically about the assessment in that report of Pakistan modernizing its nuclear arsenal, almost certainly, and what it says about the country almost certainly procuring WMD applicable goods from foreign suppliers and intermediaries.
Okay, you know, Ms. Gambhir, is like this. Everyone touts this nuclear bogey. I have my own views about this. It's a weapon of deterrence. No sane country run by a sane government will ever consider using a nuclear device on a bordering nation. Now, that I don't think will ever happen, because it would be definitely mutually assured destruction. And I do not know whether all these reports, where they are emanating from. I'm sure you have your sources, but I actually don't want to look into the arena of nuclear weapons, weapons of mass destruction, nuclear, chemical, or biological, because I do not believe that in a country as close as Pakistan is to India, I don't think either of us should be looking at using this, because after all, if we want to sort out another country, there are other ways to do it. Yes, warfare will have losses to both sides, but not the magnitude of loss that a mutually assured destruction of a WMD kind of an engagement will have. So, yes, you can't stop somebody from developing his arsenal. You're saying also that China has got 600, they'll have about more than 1,000 at a point of time. Yes, why not? They're most entitled to do so. But I do not know how effective they will be in actually being used in an engagement with a neighboring country, or even for that matter, a country which is 1,000 miles away. I'm sorry, I don't see that happening, not when today the world is run by economics. It's all about money. I have investment in his country too. Why would a sensible businessman want to knock off his own investments at the cost of what?
Right, and what do you make of China's role when it comes to aiding Pakistan in all of this?
Yes, yes, for sure. So China has always aided Pakistan. You see, they have to keep us in check. If they want to keep us in check, please notice that India is so vast and so huge. The borders, the LAC with China, the areas where we coexist are limited. We have two-thirds of that of our country's borders which are not connected with China in any way. But there's a one-third which is with Pakistan. Which better way to keep India occupied economically, militarily, get our attention diverted and keep us always on our toes than to keep Pakistan dealing with us in whichever manner possible, whether terrorism, whether cross-border firing, whether this, whether that, whether drugs, whether any form of engagement. So, yes, they will support Pakistan. For example, CPEC is a reality. Whether it's worked or not is another story, but CPEC is a reality. They want to keep the second front of India also busy so that we do not only focus towards the Chinese portion of our coexisting territorial contiguity. So yes, it will continue. This is not going to stop. It will continue. They will keep increasing support. Frankly, they've got everything that most of the equipment that you saw in this present four-day engagement was Chinese, mostly Chinese in nature. Yes, some Turkish, but mostly Chinese in nature. It will continue. We have to be prepared for it. Molly, it doesn't end here. You see, these are things we all know. Frankly, I'm just repeating what is actually a fact of life that is happening around our subcontinent, in the region, and in the world. A nation which prepares for its own integrity, its own independence, and the safety of its own population is a nation that will survive. You can't give excuses and say, oh, he's supporting him, hence I have a problem. No, okay, he's supporting him. Now, how do we deal with both of them? Can we deal with them simultaneously? Let's build the capability if we want to do so. Do we deal with them individually in staggered time frame? Let's build the capability to do so. Slowly but surely we'll get there. How do you know we haven't already got there? We are not backing down. Frankly, we are all over the place. We are all over not only regionally, but we are all over internationally too. And that's something to be proud about, that we are standing. You see, we are the country, India, which is facing adversarial nations on our borders. None of the Western nations have actually got any engagement taking place on any border of theirs. Whatever be their arsenal capabilities, their nuclear capabilities, their manpower capabilities, or their projection capabilities. However, we are facing live borders. This has, the last 10 years, 14 years, 15 years has shown that adequately. And we are dealing with it admirably, and we should be really proud of our government, our army, armed forces. We're doing an awesome job. We will continue to do so because we plan, we cater for this, and we will continue to do so. So let them support Pakistan, not a problem. Let them support any other country which is in our vicinity, not a problem. But we will plan for how to deal with our own independence, our own integrity, and our own national interests.
All right, we're leaving it there for the moment. Thanks very much for being here on the broadcast and sharing those insights and your perspectives.
Thank you for having me. Have a nice day, Jai Hind.